Hello YouTubers, sorry for the preemption to my preemption. I wanted to quickly convey that this video is very simple. After reviewing the video, it looks like it's complicated, but it is not. All I've done is mounted a rear view camera mirror where the old camera sat. I have ran a wire down a pillar. I have connected wires from the positive and negative of the battery and a switch source from the fuse box. I have ran a video cable that's all supplied in the kit from the camera to the front of the car. And that's all there is to hook up on this car. There's nothing else. So it may look simple or it may look complicated to you, but that's all there is to this video. Hello YouTubers, in this video I'll be installing a rear view camera for my 2012 Dodge Charger SRT8 SuperBee. If you watched my previous video on this car, you'll know that the SuperBee is a stripped down version of the normal SRT8. The 70 pounds of weight savings is its performance edge. Given that, a rear view camera option is not available on this car. As you can see, with the short sides and overall visibility is not the greatest, especially given the size of the car. So here we are. First, I encourage you to watch the entire video as there are lessons learned that may prove helpful to you. This video has taken me weeks of trial and error, purchasing this, ordering that, thinking out of the box, and pivoting back and forth to other plans. Believe me, I've tried many things to get a factory type setup and it's cost me time, money, and parts. What you're looking at here is the first option I tried, the Wolfbox G930. The Wolfbox G930 is what's in the Saab and it mounts to the original mirror in the car. While it was my original choice, it was just too small for the factory mirror. It ended up not covering all of the factory mirror and just looked wrong, so I sent it back. My next trial was mounting the AutoVox Cam 7 camera to the third brake light on this car. The camera is what's on the truck and on the Saab. I felt and still do that it's the best option for the factory look, but no matter how the camera was oriented, it just wouldn't show directly behind the car. Maybe if the brake light sat straight up and down versus angled at this odd angle, it would work great. But it would only display the road and not what's behind the car. Essentially, there was no good angle for the camera to be mounted there. In the end, the video that you're about to see is the best option with the best results I could get for the money. And speaking of money, this setup cost me $300 and I couldn't be happier with the outcome for that amount of money. All the parts used are listed in the description below. Now, on to the video. It is a good looking car. All right, let's get the trunk open. So this is our device, the AutoVox T5 Pro. This one has the built-in front-facing camera on the front of the device versus a separate camera for the front of the car as in the T9 Pro. Let's see, there we go. There we go. All right. This is it. Sorry, had an interruption. This is our GPS antenna. This is our rear-facing camera. The wiring that goes from the rear-facing camera to the front of the car. The power that goes to the front of the car, along with fuses. That'd be nice. And then our brackets and a mounting hardware for the rear-facing camera. All right, so I want to figure out what bracket we need for this car and kind of get things staged inside on the dash. So let's go up there and start taking things apart. First thing I want to do is get this here off. Okay, it took me longer than it should have, but I was trying to be very careful not to break anything. But it just snaps together. I started down here at the bottom, down here, and just worked my way around until it became free. And this side just peels back like the other. To disconnect the mirror from the wiring, it's just a push pin right here. Okay, to get the mirror out, I'm just going to twist it off, lefty-loosey. Mirror is out. Now we need to find our bracket that comes with the kit. So before we mount our bracket that connects to our AutoVox camera, this piece here can only go one way. If you see the indentation and the indentation there, this fits right over it. And then this one here twisted on and off, but as you can see, these are spring loaded. This is not spring loaded. So we're going to push this on and set it into place, and then a screw will go up in there and permanently hold it to the mounting point. So I'll show you. Goes like this. Okay, the bracket is in. It's sitting in place. Again, when we screw it in and mount this permanently, that's when that will get tightened. So I didn't record this part, and I don't know why, but all I did was slip the camera onto the bracket, and we're just mocking things up at this point. So now that we know from a proof of concept perspective, it works perfectly. Now we need to insert one of these into the bracket under here and screw it in with the supplied hardware. All right, so now this is mocked into place. Let's run our wiring and we'll go. One thing to point out that I think I really like about this kit is that only this one cable that has all of our electrical connections on it goes to the camera. Everything else, so we don't have a, like in the Wolf box, you got a cord plugging in, and plugging in. This is only the one cord, and when I'm all said and done, you're not even going to see that cord. It's going to be gone, and all we're going to see is a camera. Very nice setup, to be honest. Now, since everything comes up to here, we're going to continue. I'm just showing you here how I'm running my wiring. It's going to come through here and down through here. And everything else that we need needs to come and meet this cable. So our power ground and switch source will come here. Our GPS camera will come here, right here. And then our reverse camera is in here as well, somewhere. Will come here as well. Very nice setup, because we can put everything probably behind that kick panel and bring everything else to it, and it will stay nice and neat behind the kick panel. As far as the electrical, I have electrical wiring everywhere, really. So I'm going to go back to the battery, plug it in, and run our cables up to this from here. I'm going to run it from our battery or fuse box connections to this. So everything will meet here, probably underneath that kick panel. Okay. So what I've done here is, and I didn't do a good job in my video, so hence I'm preempting it. I have brought up a speaker wire, the black and red there, and then I have a singular wire. So the black and red are going to be my positive and negative, and the singular wire, the little copper looking wire, is going to be my switch source. All I've done is route that from the trunk up to here, and basically extending the wires that I have to cut. Because as you can tell from where this wire is, on the left side, the yellow, red, and black, it will never reach the trunk. So I had to extend it to get it this far. So that's what you're looking at here. Everything is kind of staged where I want it. My wires are coming up from the back to here where I want it. And then I'm about to lop these ends here off and take them to the back, and we'll splice them in with our new wire, which is positive and negative and switch source. And we'll splice them in up here. We'll take these ends to the back, take these ends to the back, and plug them into the fuse block. Anyway, just wanted to kind of give you an idea. Everything is ran loosely. It's going to go underneath all these panels loosely. Coming through here, positive, negative, and switch. Okay, here is the power for the mirror right here. The ground is right here on the chassis ground. This is our Rockford Fosgate. And then here's our switch source. For the Rockford Fosgate, I've just tapped into that for the switch source for the mirror. So the last thing we need to account for is this red wire. This red wire is what's onto the main wiring to the front of the car, and it's what activates the reverse lines when you put it in reverse. And we're going to attach it to our reverse bulb on the trunk. I'm using posi taps for the wiring, so this is to our reverse. And we're going to tap into our wire up. Okay, my posi tap is connected to the car. Here's our red wire. It's connected to the white wire or beige wire of the reverse bulb. And I've just got it going down the chase. And it's connecting up to the main harness to go up to the front. Here's the optional camera I bought with the kit. This is the same camera that's on the back of the Saab, that's on the back of the truck. So I trust it to do exactly what I need it to do. Mounted. So as I indicated at the beginning of the video, I did a lot of trial and errors as it relates to where the camera placement was. So I didn't record this part because I didn't know if this was going to be the first or last spot of it. Anyway, all I've done is take off the adhesive on the back of the camera, mount it at this point, and fish the wire behind the bumper. And right up in here is my wire for the camera. It goes down the back of the car through here, and it goes over, and it comes up right here. This is a plastic plug to the car. I drilled a hole. I bought a rubber plug that fit the hole, and I'll put all that in my link in the description below, this part here. And the camera wire comes up through here and ultimately connects in here, behind here, to the car. And then the rest of the wire goes up the side of the car to the front. No rocket science. Ran the camera. Comes up through this hole and through the grommet hole. Because I don't want water to come in here, but this car never gets driven in rain, so that will never happen in the first place. But even if it did, there's a rubber grommet protecting the inside of the car. The camera wire comes up and joins the main wiring harness to the car, which you've already seen. Okay, what you're looking at here is the connection that I ended up having to do between the camera and the wiring harness. And I did not know this at the time of recording the previous clip, that this was necessary, but it ended up being so. So what you're looking at is a device with a push button in my fingers. And I pulled it out of the device in my hand. So it just pulls out. Now, I will tell you, when you do this, and it is necessary that you do this, if you're following what I'm doing, you got to do this. This piece has to come out. Just pull it out of the device in my hand. And what you're going to do is you're going to insert that, and it can only go one way, in between the camera wiring and the main harness. But what this device does is it changes formats, and I'll pop it up on the screen now what these formats are. But I ended up having to press the button 3 times to this format so that it would work with the camera. But this is vital that this takes place, or when you plug this all up, it's not going to show up on the screen. And it did. Come right out. So now we can discard the cable. Grab our piece here, and it can't go but one way. So we just need to intercept it and plug the camera into this, and then this into our line going to the like so. Perfect. So right now it is not on. Let's go back here and press our button. They said twice. 1, 2. Still not on. Press it again. And we're on. So pressing it 3 times. And it's reversed, which we can fix. But it's on. Okay, the top is in. Just need to put in the trim ring. It's coming through here, coming down here, and we'll just gather it all up and set it behind the footrest here. So I did not show me tucking the wires behind this panel and down the chase, but that's all I did. Hide the wires like I did on the Rockford Fosgate video, and then button everything up. Okay, the back is all nice and tidy, as though we were never here. All right, here we are. Everything's buttoned up. Everything's put away. Nice and neat, as though it was never here. And that's the beauty of all of this. If I sell this car and the new owner wants it back to stock, all of this can come out with no cutting, no hassles. Just unplug it and go. But anyway, this is it. Nice and neat. The screen is shiny screen, as you can see on the camera here, and it looks great. I'm actually shocked at how well the camera is, how high up the camera is. Pretty, not thinking that was going to be that high up, but that looks pretty dang good to me. When I go into reverse, the reverse lines, like where do they need to be, that sort of thing. Outside of that, this thing is pretty much ready to go. So here we are riding down the road. This thing is looking fantastic. I'm just pleasantly surprised. The quality of the camera, how it mounts, just everything looks fantastic, like it is. This is really, really an upgrade. And for this car being so short and small with the windows and not being able to see, and it's a big car backing it up, it's I feel quite lucky that I was able to get this thing to work as well as I did. One thing to note, that optional camera that I put on the back, the Cam 7 Pro, absolutely worth its weight. Again, that's the same one that I have on the Saab, same one I have on the truck, and they work fantastic as shown here. Just, I don't know, just very, very happy. Anyway, my next step is to go line up some parking lot lines so I know how to get the grid line to work right. Step is lining up my reverse lines. And as you can see, I am in a parking spot like this and like this. And the camera is actually showing it probably really, really accurately. But I want it to be some fudge room in there, so I'm going to move it out here. I know if I'm in the red, I'm not actually going to hit anything just yet. And like so. All right, YouTubers, that was it. This camera is installed, working perfectly. As you just saw riding down the road, this is the champ. It looks so good. And what I can tell is that that's the same camera that's on this car, but the screen in this one is nowhere near the quality of the AutoVox. This is a Wolfbox 930. This one's an AutoVox something that's be in the description below. That one works great, but this one's much clearer. Very nice screen. So I'll have to test it out at nighttime. I rarely drive this car. As you know, it's with 5,000 miles on it. It's more of a yard queen than it is a driving queen. But just the installation of it all, the way it looks, is perfect. Anyway, YouTubers, if you like the video,